Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we'll be talking about two-dimensional arrays, three-dimensional arrays, or let's just say multi-dimensional arrays. These are arrays that are more than one, and each element is an entire array inside of an array. So a multi-dimensional array is an array of arrays, and it is useful if you need to create a matrix, a grid, or a table of data. So how do we create such array? Okay, we start by declaring our data type. Then we can say numbers. Then to do an array like this, you have to this is a two-dimensional array we want to create now. So we have to create two square brackets. This first square bracket is the row, and the second square bracket is the column. You may not need to set a number for this, but you have to set a number for this. So let's say 3 to start with, 3 columns. So to set up this array, let's start by going 1, 2, 3. This is our first array, or this is the first row. To create the second row, we say 4, 5, 6. Then we enclose everything inside of another curly braces. So this is a two-dimensional array. If I drop it down, you can see it properly. Okay, so let me drop it. Good. Now, as you can see, this array is looking like a table. So we have two rows here. You can put the two if you want, but let me put it just so that everything looks filled up. Okay, so this is an array that contains two rows and three columns. Okay, now how do we access the values of each array inside the index? We do this by saying printf, then the format specifier for integer. Then you can do something like this. So the two brackets, because it's a two-dimensional array. So let's get the first one, 0, 0. So you see, the first array is 0, and the value of the first array is also 0. So to get 1, we say 0, 0. And let's print this to see. As you can see, we got 1. What if we want to get 5? That is the second array. So that would be array 1 and 2. Oh, that's 6, sorry, 1, 1, 1. So let me just expand this so that we can see it properly. So this array that we have up here can actually be visualized like this. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2. 0, 2. And the second one is 1, 0. That will be 4. 1, 0, 1, 1, and 1, 2. So just to make you see that it is the same, I will do it here. I will say, so 0, 0 is equal to 1. And the other one is equal to 2, 3. So I'm using the array again, using their indexes. 4, 5, 6. So I can comment this out because it's the same thing. What I've done here is what I've expanded to this. So this same array is also equal to this. Now, what if we want to loop through this array? Because it will be difficult for us to start, going in one by one. So what if we want to loop inside? But first, like I said, the arrays are the same, so we can just copy this here. to initialize the variable. Okay, so this is what sets the groundwork for this array. It is set now. So we have an array of 2 rows and 3 columns. Now, to loop through this array, which is this or this, we have to use a nested loop, a for loop inside of a for loop. And how do we go about that? We say for I equal to 0, okay? Then for as long as I is less than 2, because 2 is the row, we are doing the row first, then I plus plus. Then inside of the loop, now let's create a new loop for our indexes. For our row. So let's call this one j. Int j is equal to 0. Then j, as long as j is less than 3, because the columns are 3, okay? Then j plus plus. And what do we want to do? We want to print out each indexes. So we will say the format specifier. And what are we printing out? We are printing out numbers I and j. Now let's put a new line so that we have them all on new lines, okay? So I'm looping through the multi-dimensional array. Let's see if we get all these values back. So as you can see, it's looking like a table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let me put a space. So it looks like a real table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And as you can see, we have the same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm just trying to show you different ways we can use to initialize this array. Now, what if we added more to our array? Let's assume we now have a new column. So that would be 2, 2, 2. Some will be 7, 8, and 9. If we do this, our array is not going to loop properly over it because it's not going to go into 7, 8, 9 because we've hard coded the rows and column here. So there is a way we can go about this. And how do we do that? We can set the values for the rows and columns, okay? So we can say, sorry. So we create the rows equal to, this is going to be the size of the numbers array, okay? Which will now be divided by the size of the first index array, the index of the first array, and that is the row, and the column in scores. Let me write it in full. Will now be size of numbers of first array, size of numbers of each value. And now we can use them here. So instead of these two, we can change this to the rows and use this as columns. And now that we've done that, we should be able to get the value for all of our arrays now. No matter how many more arrays we had, it should loop through all. I think I've done it backwards. So first, let's print out the numbers of columns and rows. So let's be sure that we are on track. So rows, rows, okay, so this will be rows, and columns. So let's ascertain this first. I want to see something. Or new line. New line. New line. Clear. So we have 2 rows and 2 columns. Okay, so because we added the new row here, so we have to update this. So you can actually make it 3 or leave it empty. So that was why we have this issue on our screen. So let's redo this. And as you can see, 3 rows, 3 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is working well now. So what if we remove this number here and leave it empty so that the script understands it itself? But I think it's better for us to put it. But let's just try and see if it works. It's throwing up an error. So we have to put it. So 3 by 3. So this array is a 3 by 3 array or a 3-dimensional array. That's what we've created now. Okay. So if we run the loop again, as you can see, we get our output and everything is working properly. What if we had one more row? Let's do that quickly. So this becomes 3, 4, 3, 3, and 3. And this is 10, 11, 12. Save, clear the output, and let's run this again. Oh, see, we are yet to update this. So let's update this now to 4. Okay. So let's run it. And as you can see, we have 4 rows and 3 columns. See, 3 columns. And our arrays are in 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have 1 to 12. So guys, that is it on multi-dimensional arrays, 2-dimensional arrays, and 3-dimensional arrays in C. Guys, I'll see you in the next one.